Hey, what's up? First up, the things you'll notice immediately are the display improvements. Now, when you unlock awards, the unlock time and date show on the award screen, and your total playtime appears on the load and save screens, which is one of those tiny details that actually matters when you're juggling multiple save files or trying to remember whether that run was the 30-minute practice or the 2-hour completionist push. The map also now shows golden balloon counters per level. So if you're hunting those collectibles, you don't need to keep re-entering levels just to check progress. These are simple additions, but they remove a lot of friction and let you keep momentum in the game instead of interrupting it with needless backtracking. The meat of the patch is the progression and save fixes. A bunch of players were getting stuck after revisiting areas or loading old saves. Objectives wouldn't update, enemies wouldn't spawn, or certain events just wouldn't trigger properly. This patch goes after those blockers specifically, repairing issues that could leave you stranded in the middle of an objective or unable to finish a level after reloading. There were even reports of the final boss encounter in Haunted Bikini Bottom having platforming problems that could trap you or make progression impossible. That's been addressed so the boss sequence flows correctly again. These changes are the ones that actually restore faith in replaying your saves instead of fearing you'll lose progress. On the DLC side, the update tidies up the persistence for downloadable content and cosmetic unlocks. Players had found that certain DLC challenges weren't updating, or that costume unlocks would vanish after loading a save. Maddening for anyone who grinds for cosmetics. And the patch now makes those unlocks stick across sessions. Interestingly, there was also new costume-related content appearing around the same time, which lines up with the broader post-launch content rollout. That kind of coordination between patches and add-ons makes the whole experience feel more intentional, like the team is trying to get the whole ecosystem running smoothly at once. It's worth mentioning the context around the team and the launch. The game came out in mid-November last year and is developed by Purple Lamp and published by THQ Nordic, so there was a lot of attention on making sure the post-launch support matched the expectations set by the initial reception. Players who follow community updates have been vocal about the bugs that mattered most, and you can see the work to address them appearing clearly in these updates. It's always nice when the fixes line up with what players actually reported instead of being purely cosmetic. Performance and localization tweaks also made the cut. Some areas, like that Haunted Bikini Bottom slide to final boss sequence, got targeted performance improvements so frame hiccups and odd collisions happen less often. Localization got a polish too, so translated strings and menus behave better across all supported languages, which matters when you have a global audience playing on different platforms with different language preferences. Those sorts of fixes rarely get hyped up, but they directly impact how smooth and accessible the experience feels for a broader player base. I want to talk about how this changes player behavior for a second. When progression is reliable and saves persist properly, you play differently. You're more willing to retry things, you're more likely to explore optional content, and you don't hoard progress because you're afraid of losing it. The map counters and playtime displays feed into that by letting you make choices quickly. Do I go back for the golden balloons now or later, without opening menus and losing momentum? Patches like this are deceptively powerful because they don't necessarily change core mechanics, but they change how comfortable players feel interacting with those mechanics. That's where the value lives. I'll also say something about the communication. Coverage around the patch has been clear about what was fixed and why, which helps the player base understand whether their personal headaches were addressed. Seeing concrete notes like progression blockers being resolved or save issues being fixed helps reduce confusion and gives players a clear signal that the team is listening.